Gabriel.
Well, that was drawn out. Hello, Ian.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Blank as a Fart. It's a podcast about Twin Peaks.
What?
Yep.
No way.
Starring me, the expert, and Ian. Or are you this way?
I am that way. Yeah.
You are that way?
Yes.
Ian, the noob.
I think I'm pretty much an expert at this point, though.
No. You've got a lot of ground to cover before you've earned your doctorate. Here we are live on Twitch, and we're at a pinnacle episode here. Very important part of the series. This one's called Lonely Souls, and it's the big one, the one where we find out who killed Laura Palmer.
Cue DJ Shadow, because he has a song called Lonely Souls.
Mm-hmm. With the sample, it is happening again. Did you know that's what it was
I did not.
Before this episode?
Not.
Okay.
Nope, did not. Had no clue.
Yeah, but that all kind of came together for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Where
there's
do
a similar.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, it took me a minute to obtain this. There's a similar story about a Marilyn Manson song, but the sample itself doesn't happen until the very last episode of the series. So we'll tell it then. But anyway, yeah, I'll plug the socials really quick. We're on Instagram, Blank as a Fart. We're on Facebook, Blank as a Fart. We're kind of on Threads, Blank as a Fart. We got a Gmail, blankasafart.com, blankasafartpod at gmail.com. I was going to check it today, but I forgot the password.
We're on all the podcast platforms.
Mm-hmm.
You can also find me on my YouTube, on the Milkman Pictures YouTube page, youtube.com/milkmanpictures. And we can stream right now like we are on twitch.tv/The Couch Club Show, where they also host our show live for everybody to enjoy if they wanted to pop in, but maybe not.
There it is.
There's the thumb. Oh, I don't have that. Yeah, because anyway.
No, because you're not on an iPhone like me.
No, I could be, but I'm not going to be. Negative.
Well, you're going to use your superior technology while you have it.
Superior. Anyway.
All right. So should we go ahead and dive in? Or do you want to offer like a brief summary about how much you hated this episode first?
I'm not even going to offer a brief summary of like, I think my brief summary is going to be, I think in all my notes, the word that comes up the most is dumb. That's my only summary. That's the only summary I'm going to tease.
I mean, we do have to look at the angle that Lynch was making this episode pretty much under duress.
Right. No, I see it. I get it. I get it. You going to ask me the beer question again? You going to ask me my beer question?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, again.
Yes.
We did in pre-show. Yeah. So last week we had discussed how Ian only had one beer before viewing the episode.
And I like that episode.
Seemed to favor it a little more than previous episodes where you'd had, 2, maybe 3. So this episode, when I realized that Ian was going to shit on it, I asked about the beer intake. We were at 1.25.
What was higher than this? It's at 1.5 now, but it was like up here.
Right.
So it's like
upon
maybe 2
quarters. The episode. Yeah, upon finishing 2/4 is a half, so that wouldn't work.
You're right, 3/4.
I am right.
My bad. I thought you said a quarter. My bad.
I was leaning toward 1.25 consumed. Right. Quantity consumed, 1.25 upon finishing the episode. And he still hated it, is the point. So, let's find out why. We open on Sunrise at the sheriff's station.
I think I said why. It's dumb. No.
It's dumb, yeah. But let's do the specifics. Let's do the nitty gritty.
Before we get way in there, I will say again, watching the credits again, obviously, this one is written by Mark Frost and directed by David Lynch. Those are the sole contributions.
Well, like Lynch was saying, if anybody was going to slay that goose, it was going to be him.
Right.
And he did, like, before we start, the other comparison that he made in interviews that we haven't brought up yet is The Fugitive, which seems pretty obvious here. The Fugitive, you had the one-armed man who supposedly murdered Dr. Kimball's wife. You never found out like what was going on with the one-armed man until the end of the series. So Lynch viewed it very much that way. I mean, like the little breadcrumbs kept that mystery alive, but you had, other things to keep your viewers occupied.
Right.
And, they have a big enough cast of characters where they were perfectly capable of doing that. So that was his excuse for trying to keep, the killer under wraps, at least until the end of the series. As far as I'm aware, Frost was on board with that concept. Like from the beginning, neither one of them wanted to reveal the killer. They had similar views on that. But the network forced them to, and they forced them to do it in the middle of season 2, as opposed to even letting them build the whole season to it. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of shit that feels shoehorned in here. So I tried to stick to presentation, to the overall art of it all, which there's a fair amount of here. Unfortunately, it's in the most unpleasant scene. So, let's, what does that sound about right to you? Does that sound fair?
Let's just go.
Let's just go.
Let's do it. Let's get through it. I don't know. We don't have to get it over with, but I don't.
You don't.
I will. You know what is interesting? I will say.
What's that?
No, I guess maybe not. Never mind. I took less notes last episode. The episode I liked, I took less. I took more notes this time. Never mind.
Okay.
I was thinking like I took less, but I wrote a lot actually.
Okay. We'll see if that's a good or a bad thing. Sounds like a bad thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Hey, donuts.
It's an opinion.
We open up to donuts. That's all that fucking matters.
There's always donuts. Lots of donuts.
Not always,
this episode.
but there's a lot of donuts in this episode.
Very prevalent in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I took note. So yeah, we open on Sunrise at the sheriff's station as the law enforcement gang plus one-armed Mike is all gathered around the front desk, drinking coffee and eating donuts. Harry informs them that they're all set for their operation at the Great Northern. Mike repeats his ominous description of said hotel from the night before. Hawk, however, has a solo mission. The sheriff has obtained a warrant for Harold Smith's apartment, and Hawk's going to be the one to serve it and go check out the scene. Coop and Gordon give him all the details about the diary. Gordon, it turns out, won't be sticking around for all the fun stuff as he's off to Bend for something top secret, so we don't get much of Lynch on Lynch this week except for this long, amiable farewell.
You mean because he has to direct the episode? So get me off this show quick.
Yeah. Here's how we write me out of the episode, gang.
Bend over.
Bend
over.
Over.
This is a non sequitur. We do the Gambler. We used to do the Gambler every year, and we would drive down to Bend, and we had 2 different cars. We had walkie-talkies, and we'd be driving to Bend, and it's like, we're on our way to Bend. Over.
Oh, so everything had to end with Bend.
Bend. Over.
Over.
Stupid. I know.
Oh no, I have jokes like that never get old. Most of them are Simpsons references.
There you go.
I'm weird like that. Anything you wanted to mention about this scene here?
I mean, it's a funny scene. It's like you set up the camera. It's a very static shot. They're all lined up.
Yeah, it doesn't move at all, does it?
It doesn't move at all.
Just a single camera.
Gordon and Cooper they look exactly the same. Dressed up exactly. It's kind of funny.
Same level of gel in their hair.
Why am I forgetting?
I think the part is in different directions, but other than that, yeah, they're. We got Hawk. Yeah. We got Andy.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Andy's back. Lucy's not back yet. She's still on vacation.
Lucy,
she's still out.
Yeah.
I did notice this is.
She was later. In the credits, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
She and Josie are both in the credits.
Oh, I saw
in the main
Joycey.
opening.
I saw Joycey in the credits. I totally forgot. I didn't even notice. It is funny though. There's a dude in her position at a later scene, and it's like, oh yeah, Lucy's not bad.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I don't think we have to wait long for her return.
I mean, they need to ramp up the drama somehow.
Right? We still need to know if she's, going to
Pregnant.
come back pregnant.
Or aborted, or yeah, whatever.
Or what? Yeah. Big cliffhanger there. But moving on to the Great Northern, where the plan apparently is to sit Mike down in the lobby and parade every single guest in front of him to see if he detects the presence of Bob. I can see where you're calling this dumb.
This is
In retrospect, with 35 years of far more realistic television, this is pretty bad.
This is a wild scene too. Like, I don't even understand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. They're
ball
parading,
bouncing.
but I don't get the sailor balls. I don't get the sailor balls, man. There's all these sailors in the Great Northern. We don't really know why they're there, and they're just bouncing rubber fucking balls, and it's just like, what? It's just wild. I mean, I get like parading people in front of him, but I think
At least for continuity's sake, a crowd of them show up in the Roadhouse later.
they do without their balls, but
Thank Christ for that.
But it's
That would
just-
have been really disruptive.
it's
for
just
the
weird.
performance.
It's just like, what a weird choice.
It is a weird choice. I guess they've already done the marching band, so they can't have snare drums or anything.
Well, part of me's
Why
thinking
can't they all
like,
be playing chess? Or
well,
something?
part of me is really curious. Like, we need a bunch of extras at the Great Northern this week, and then they just go look at like, oh, what shows have a bunch of costumes just available this week? And it's like, previously it was they must have done some
Marching band.
sports thing or some kind of band
Yeah.
thing, and then this week is like,
We
oh,
had
they did some kind of
cheerleaders, we had the
sailor, they
cheerleading.
did some kind of sailor thing, so everyone just dress up as sailors. It's just like,
And bounce balls.
I mean, if you guys were on the coast, I would get it, but it's like you have all these sailors out in the middle of nowhere.
That's true, yeah.
It's just so random. It's just so fucking most random.
How coastal is Twin Peaks? We are not exactly
We don't
sure.
know. I guess there is. What's his name?
We have seen Ben and Jerry on a boat at one point
No, that's true.
as they were crossing the border.
And there is the Major,
So I'd have to guess they're somewhere on the Columbia at least.
or they have, or they up in the Sound. They could be up in the Sound. There's a naval base up in the Puget
Oh,
Sound.
yeah. That's true.
Maybe they're up on Whidbey Island,
I mean, we know they're close to, yeah. But,
close to Seattle.
well, that Seattle is the closest major metro area for whatever that's worth. But,
Anyway,
I mean, we know they're a boat ride away from a brothel on the Canadian side. So,
yeah, Whidbey Island would be perfect.
Anyway, we're digressing.
As we try to figure it out, the location of the peaks.
One thing I will note is that the noise from the constant bouncing of the balls instantly set me on edge as I was watching this scene.
And I think that's on
And
purpose.
I'm pretty sure, I'm sure that's the intended effect, is to immediately amplify tension for what, we anticipate to be something of a reveal.
My understanding is that was what Mike's was feeling. Like, all of this was to
His own
his
brain
agitation
bouncing
and
around in his
freaking
head.
out, and like, and it's just, but
Yeah.
it's just so like, oh my god, how just okay,
Yeah.
sure.
An external, that's something I read in like a couple of various internet dissertations about this episode. Is it's all about duality and making the internal external and vice versa.
And I can understand that a lot. Like, they're
Yeah.
trying to create
So this
something.
is an external representation of
what's
Mike's
happening
inner mood.
What
Yeah.
I guess ultimately, and we can talk a little bit about here and then also later at the reveal, but I feel like if the show had good writers and was a good show like a Today Show, you wouldn't need any of this. Like, those people would just have those. I don't want to get into it yet. We'll talk about it when we do the reveal.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah. I get where you're going with that, though. Mr. Tojimura takes his turn and receives an emphatic no from Mike. So it's not Bob hiding under that fake mustache. This highly questionable police work continues until an irritated Ben Horn storms in the lobby, demanding to know what's going on. Suddenly, Mike clutches for his missing arm and freaks the fuck out, falling out of his chair, having some sort of episode. Chaos ensues with a dozen, but it doesn't appear to deter the naval cadets from continuing to bounce their balls.
I know
that is some mumbly Joe voice notes right there.
from Metal Gear Solid
Let
5.
me read this to you.
Oh, okay.
literally,
Go ahead.
Just for some laughs. This is what voice notes on my iPhone thought I was saying. Chaos, comma, and Sue, comma, with a dozen appear to deter the naval cadets.
I just
With a dozen. Oof.
I just put, what's with the sailor balls? I type mine out. I don't say it.
You type, yeah.
I
I might start. Well, if I didn't do it on my phone, I need a keyboard. I could do it a lot faster that way.
I do it on my phone right here. Look at that. I just type.
I still only type with one thumb on my phone. So, yeah.
I guess. Oh, what was I gonna say? Oh, I totally. Oh well.
Anything else about sailor balls?
There was something I was gonna add, but I totally. Oh no, I was gonna talk about him clutching for his arm, and I know from Metal Gear Solid 5 and Kojima that when you lose a limb, you have something called phantom pain.
The phantom pain, yeah.
Because you still have it, you still think you have an arm, and it still hurts even though it's not there. So I was like, oh, phantom pain. I don't know if that's what they were actually going for, but
I'm sure. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. One thing that Lynch is famously obsessed with is electricity and electrical impulses.
Oh, okay.
Part of which phantom pains are tied to are lingering nerve impulses powered by electricity. So yeah, wouldn't surprise me at all if that's something that he was 100% onto and referred to here in this scene. Hawk is speeding down the highway with sirens wailing and lights flashing, but we get a look inside Harold Smith's place before he does. It's an utter ruin. Furniture and orchids alike are destroyed and scattered everywhere, along with a lot of shredded paper and notes. The camera pans to the door, which Hawk opens upon receiving no response to his calls. And he sees Harold Smith before we do, dangling from the rafters of the greenhouse. I guess that rules him out, too.
I guess so. I mean...
Yeah, your theory's busted.
One of them. Come on.
One theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though, also, waste of a creepy character, in my opinion.
Yeah, he didn't get a lot of time, did he? He could have...
it could have been worse.
Posed a lingering
threat. I don't understand. I don't know.
Yeah, could have continued to serve as an antagonist to Donna or James in the future. It would have been a lot better than what the future holds in store for them, I'm going to tell you right now.
Listen, we were forced to reveal the killer, and also they're cutting our budget. Goodbye.
At least until the final 2 episodes. Whew. Right. Close-up of an amateur painting of an elk, and boy, do I mean amateur, with the caption, Missoula, Montana, as Louis Armstrong plays in the background.
All right. Yes.
This establishing shot?
It establishes into the room, and then you realize that they're not in that room. They're in a room behind this room. And I'm sitting here thinking in my head, like, the Palmer house is weird. What the fuck is up with the living room layout? There's a family room just off the living room. Like, so you're looking, it opens.
Don't forget the big dining room right off of the family room.
Well, yes, but like, you're at the fireplace. There's photos. You're panning off. Then there's a love seat. And then you notice that there's a fucking one of those Asian, like, changing
Yeah, like a privacy screen or whatever.
screen.
Yeah.
And then over that, there's a massive couch that runs the entire back window that they're sitting on behind there. But then you're still in the living room with the love seat and then the record player right there. And it's just
the piano, if I remember right.
It's just a weird, like, is this only here so we're shooting through it? I think this is only here so we're shooting, like, it's being this kind of, we're shooting through past some objects to give some depth. But it's just so bizarre to me that just like, and then that room itself seems crazy narrow. It's just fucking weird to me. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's real. Who cares? It's fucking bizarre.
If I remember right, the interiors of the Palmer House were all filmed on a set.
Oh, sure.
Unlike the sheriff's station, which were actually filmed at that exterior location that they had, which was like an old Weyerhaeuser office, I think.
It just seems weird. Like, why not just have it all open? I don't know. It just seems fucking, I don't know. It's a weird choice.
Yeah. We'll have to research that and see if we can get like an overhead layout of that first floor of the Palmer household.
Like, if you just look at it again, Gabe, if you watch it again now, it's just like we're in a room, but then there's another room back there. I don't know. It's just weird. Whatever. You know what? I only pick on fucking directorial choices when Lynch is directing. No. Maybe I don't.
I wouldn't.
That's
say
not
that's
true. That's
not
true. Only when our girls. Only when our girl
emphasize them a little bit.
Only when our girl
Leslie.
is not. Only when she's not directing, because she does a good job. Like,
yeah,
everyone
we do
else
love
is.
us some Leslie Linka Glatter.
Everyone else is just making stupid choices. Anyway.
Or curious ones at the very least.
Very curious.
So yeah, in deeper detail, we're doing a slow pan down the mantle of a fireplace. It lets us know that we're in the Palmer house as we approach a row of pictures of Laura, including the infamous Homecoming Queen portrait that we usually see over the end credits. Maddie, Leland, and Sarah are all doing their morning reading and in their bathrobes and pajamas with their coffee. As Maddie informs her aunt and uncle that she will be leaving for Missoula in the morning to return to her own life. Sarah's obviously sad, but she and Leland are both understanding and supportive of Maddie's decision to go on back to being her own person. Maddie promises frequent visits in the future as the trio share a loving embrace. And I say to myself, what a wonderful world.
Well, you say that, and we should talk a little bit more about that, because it's a record being played on this record player, and that is actually important, because that's kind of foreshadowing.
It's a recurring motif.
It's a motif that happens later on in the show, and that piece of furniture is important to this episode. So I get
it does. We do get focused on that record player at that same angle in more than one scene.
And I don't know.
Correctly.
You know, I'd have to go back. Honestly, if I was really fucking on it, I'd go back and look and see if that record player was actually always been there. I feel like
I believe so.
I feel
Leland had played a few songs where he was dancing in the living room.
It's just interesting. It's a very interesting.
I think it's safe to say that they've been pretty consistent with the layout.
Do you? Because I think the flip side is supposed to be where the dining room table is, but that's also where fucking psycho dude comes crawling over the furniture, and there's no dining room table behind him. I don't know. I am very confused.
He comes crawling from where the long couch is under the
does
window.
He? You think so?
Yeah.
But he's between two chairs and a lamp, I thought.
No, he comes over the couch.
Are you
and
sure?
Then goes to the two chairs and the lamp that are on that opposite wall.
All right, if you say so.
I'm fairly
I'm remembering it differently.
The layout remains consistent, but
I'm gonna
You're
say
welcome to go back and rewatch
I'm
some
not.
old episodes.
I can't be bothered to do that. You're supposed
Well,
to
then
know
you're
it.
just gonna
You're
have to
supposed to
take
know
my
it like the
word
back
for
of
it.
your hand, Gabe. Come on.
I wouldn't say back of my hand. Not every scene, anyway.
But yeah, it's interesting that they've decided, because I don't think this piece of furniture. Well, you do say that Leland used it before, but I feel this is the only time I've really noticed it. So, and they use it a lot this time. Their record.
The record player?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, all this discussion has ruined my brilliant segue where I
Oh, I'm
say,
sorry.
well, it wasn't so wonderful for poor Harold Smith. The rest of the law dogs have showed up to what is now a crime scene. Cooper retrieves a suicide note from Harold's body. J'ai une âme solitaire. Cooper quickly translates that as, I am a lonely soul. Does that sound familiar to you there?
Sure. No. I mean,
No recollection of that phrase?
no.
That is the same message that was passed on to Donna by creepy Minnie Lynch, the creamed corn magician.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So
there needs to be because I was like thinking like something stupid like Fire Walk with Me or something. It was gonna be like that kind of message or something, but maybe there needs to be a sequel. I am a
or a
lonely soul.
prequel,
Or
even.
a prequel. I am a lonely soul. All these
Like
messages
a film
that are left.
prequel.
Anyway.
So anyway, we get the impression that, Minnie Lynch, the creamed corn magician, might know a little bit more than we originally thought.
Jeez.
Hawk is sorting through the mass of torn papers and destroyed flowers on the ground, where he discovers the cover to Laura's diary, Pay Dirt. Something I noticed about the scene here was the flashing, which again was, I think, done as an effect for added tension, but it would linger like longer than was necessary on the flash a couple of times during the scene, and eventually they froze on it before fading out to the commercial. So that was an artistic touch that I noted and I enjoyed for this particular scene. I felt it added another dimension to it.
I guess I didn't even
What
notice
otherwise
that.
would have been just kind of some boring exposition.
I guess I didn't even notice that.
That's weird. Yeah, I feel like that's something that you wouldn't have seen much of in 90s shows. That felt like a very Lynch thing to me.
Okay.
Well, pay dirt is a word that Bobby and Shelley won't be hearing for a while, as they're doing the budget over breakfast. Turns out that they'll have a whole $42 to last the month. Do you think that's a Douglas Adams reference?
Who knows? I don't know.
Bobby begs off a bit and tells Shelley that he can't keep faking to his parents that he's staying the night at Mike's house. That's right, folks. The dude is a high school senior. He's got parents. We forgot about that shit.
Yeah, so here's what I wrote about that. Bobby mentioned school. Laugh out loud. He's already looking for a way out. Also, does that mean Shelley's a pedo?
No, because she's only like 19 or 20 at this point, remember?
Yeah, but if he's 16, come on.
No, he's a senior.
16, 17, that's underage.
18. 18.
I was never 18.
Maybe 17.
16
or 17. I knew
17.
plenty of 18-year-old seniors.
Maybe. I mean, this is questionable. We don't know. We don't know their birth dates. We don't know the years. This is totally.
As a high school senior, the youngest that Bobby would be 17. Right. And yeah, I think we established that Shelley couldn't be more than 2 years out of dropping out of high school to work at the Double R and Mary Leo.
Just saying, Gabe. I'm just putting this out there right now. This is my first, just slide that out there. Okay, we can move on. I just wanted to plant that.
I mean, of all the characters to make that accusation of.
Oh, it's coming. That's why I'm just planning this now.
Right. Well, dude, we planted it last season, I thought.
No, but it gets
when
worse.
Ben Horn started creeping up on his daughter.
Yeah, but it gets worse. Because now we know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Gets way worse. But anyway, back to this scene where Bobby is spinning his usual yarns about making money fast. But Shelley sounds less and less convinced that he has, quote unquote, got this. Bobby is musing about Leo's hidden riches. Bobby's musings about Leo's hidden riches. God damn, I got to review these before I go over this again. Musings about Leo's hidden riches are interrupted by a sudden scream from Leo himself, badly startling both Bobby and Shelley.
Just gas. It's just gas.
Oh, yeah. I got mad Young Frankenstein vibes from this.
Jesus. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and anybody who's seen it knows what I'm talking about. The shrieking fit is punctuated by a small amount of spit and 2 mumbled words. New shoes. This freak out is short-lived, and Leo quickly returns to his catatonic state.
I mean, Leo's really bringing it. Like, he's committing with the
drool.
Dude,
his acting of the series.
It's getting more intense.
Marked improvement. Marked. Bobby tries to play it all off as gas. Leo repeats the phrase, new shoes. And a light bulb goes off in Bobby's head as he sends Shelley hunting for a receipt for a pair of boots that Leo had recently had repaired.
Yep.
Maybe he's onto something after all.
I mean, I don't know. I just think it's funny that you have this girl. It's a funny situation in the sense that, like, you have this high school kid running. You have this high school kid running this whole situation, and, like, this kid has no clue.
Yeah, and Shelley is obviously smart. Like, Shelley obviously sees through it, but ignores the red flags because Bobby makes her laugh, and I guess he's hot by 90s standards.
I guess.
I don't know. He's got intense eyes. He's got that going for him. But now we're at Ben Horn's office at the Great Northern as Audrey, who is still looking a little peaked, but pretty much recovered, confronts him with her knowledge of his shady deeds. He continues to play dumb about all the details until she brings up the name Prudence and the white mask. The realization sets in on Ben's face as he comes to understand he is now totally fucked and decides he has nothing to lose by answering Audrey's questions truthfully. Good acting on Richard Bamer's part during that scene, I would argue.
Ben tasted that Palmer. He's a pedo. Everyone loves Laura. What the fuck? Why is Laura this special girl?
I don't know that James actually slept with her. I think he might be the only one who didn't.
Yeah, but James not a pedo.
No, and technically Bobby wouldn't be either. But
no,
yeah,
exactly. But we're now Shelley and now Mr. Horn, 2 pedos.
Did you have like a pedo tally for this episode?
Yes. And we're doing a pedo tally.
I don't think it's fair to put Shelley under that category. I am gonna debate that choice. Ben Horn, fair.
She's
Shelley, not fair.
Probably a pedo.
Shelley doesn't have a son or child or anything.
Wasn't there the woman that slept with a high school student? Wasn't she in the Northwest? Or is that not? Was that Colorado?
Oh, the Laterno?
Yeah.
I think she was California, Northern California.
You know, it's close.
Close. I could be wrong. We could do our research for that.
We're not going.
Anybody live on Twitch? They can look that up for.
I'm not looking for. I'm just saying that is something that happened. I just think, Shelley, pedo. No, everyone loves Laura. It's just like, he says that, but then he's like, but I loved her. It's like, everyone loves her, but she's a fucking whore. She's a hoe. Like, this Laura chick, she's playing everybody.
It's the duality.
I guess so.
The duality of the human condition.
And I'm not trying to slut shame here. I'm just saying, like, facts are facts. I mean, she is fucking a lot of people.
No, but yeah, and everybody, like, anybody who meets her pretty much becomes infatuated with her.
Okay, let's just hold
And
that.
like, if you, yeah,
Let's just lock that in our brains that we talked about this. That Laura's like she's just a fucking tart, and everyone wants to take it. Then let's just put that away in our minds. Anyway, yes,
yes,
everyone loves Laura. Audrey gets this is like, well, this is her first of two scenes, so we don't see her much. But yeah, she honestly,
she does look amazing when we do see her.
Honestly, at this point, I'm kind of like, and like ultimately throughout this whole thing, a pretty Coop light episode too. Like Cooper has some scenes, but he's pretty light. Like it's a lot of other shit going on, a lot of different storytelling, and they do kind of sideline Cooper in this episode. But
yeah, he's more passive than active in this. He's just kind of letting things happen around him right now. Aside from one factor, which we'll get to in a little bit here. But in the meantime, Ben Horn's info dump. He's owned One-Eyed Jacks for 5 years. He knew Laura worked there, but it wasn't his idea. She went through the perfume counter and Battis like all the other girls did. Yes, he had sex with her.
Multiple times.
Probably, yeah.
Pedo.
When Audrey asks if he killed her, Ben shakes his head, picks up the photo, and says in a very soft voice, I loved her.
See, everyone loves her.
Audrey looks on at her father with visible contempt.
Disgust. Fucking.
Yeah.
Horn. Where's Jerry Horn?
From Sherilyn Fenn in this.
Yes.
As well.
We haven't seen Jerry in a long fucking time, also.
No, yeah. Jerry is definitely a
casualty.
More of a side character. You haven't seen the last of him, I promise.
All right.
Jerry will make appearances in the future.
Food from
but not as many as Ben.
From food from around the world?
We'll have to find that out together. I assume so. It's part of the gimmick, as we've discovered. But if I remember,
he comes back.
Well, oh no, he'll be back.
All right.
Next week, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
But he's one of those characters that's in and out, kind of like Josie. At the Double R, Shelley approaches Norma to let her know that she's going to have to leave the diner in order to take care of Leo full time. Angel that Norma is, she is nothing but supportive and encouraging to Shelley, and lets her know that her job will be waiting for her whenever she's ready to come back.
Okay, hold on a second. So Norma says something like, you have your life to live, or something. Something
along those lines, yeah.
And in my head, I'm watching it, and I go, what Norma meant to say was, look, Shelley, you have your own life to fuck up. Because you look at the look on Norma's face, she's just like, sure, dumbass. You're just like me. That's basically what I see.
Pretty much.
It's just funny. So that's why I wrote that. Anyway. Then the shit gets wild. I don't even want to get
yeah.
Poor Ed. Again.
Yeah.
Last week, this week. What the fuck is going on here? Anyway.
It goes on for a while. But some levity enters the scene as teenage...
Sure.
Shit, it's not Norma. Teenage
Nadine.
And middle-aged Ed approach the counter for some coffee and milkshakes.
Mm-hmm.
Ed must not have given Norma a heads up about Nadine's condition, as she seems puzzled when her mention of 20 years of working at the diner is played off as a joke by Ed.
You would think the whole town would know, because she was at the doctor's acting weird and...
Yeah, and he is like literally the only doctor in the town or something.
But whatever, it's fine.
Or at least the most popular one.
I'll let it go, but...
But Norma does seem to figure it out on her own as Nadine continues to ramble on, asking Shelley if she's in their class at school. Excuse me. As Shelley finishes up making the drinks, Nadine makes sure to clear the air with Norma. Ed was her fella after all, but Nadine is elated when they get Norma's blessing. as Ed gulps coffee from one of the weird shaped mugs that
Yes,
Ian
the
hates.
Lynch cups. See, they
The
made
Lynch
their
cups.
comeback.
We have proven that they appear in episodes that he does not direct, but so far they appear in every episode that he directs.
Yes.
So yeah, Norma's joy. No, not Norma. I get them confused.
Nadine.
Nadine's joy overcomes her, and she squeezes her milkshake to death, creating a huge mess and a gigantic gash on her palm that bleeds profusely. As Norma and Shelley rush to clean up the mess, Ed grows ever terrified of Nadine's amplified passion as she threatens to kiss him to death.
To death.
But somehow, she manages to avoid getting any blood on that nice flannel he's wearing.
Of course. She's holding it off to the side.
Wendy Roby getting to stretch a little bit this episode. What do you think?
I don't think anything. I don't know what I'm supposed to think about this. It's
pretty surreal.
It's dumb. It's dumb.
Is this one of the ones that was dumb? Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of dumb. There's a lot of dumb going on. This
and,
is like,
really,
how much longer is this? Like, you just look at Norma's face and she's like, this is dumb. She's like, she's looking at Ed like she's trying to intake, and he's like trying to give her looks, and then she's looking at Nadine.
How does he give her looks?
He's giving her looks.
Hasn't changed since Nadine woke up.
No, he's
had the same look on his face and like slightly more afraid sometimes.
No, he looks at Norma kind of like he gives her looks like.
I don't know. I'm not impressed with Everett McGill's acting during these particular scenes here.
Oh, sure. I don't think he knows what he's supposed to be doing. I think he's lost as fuck, and I get that too. But it's like.
I mean, like, I guess the direction he's been given by Lynch is like, you're a Vietnam vet who's got shell shock.
I mean, I don't know how this resolves. I know you do, but honestly, I feel like he's been written off the show, basically.
Not exactly.
No, but I mean, like, he's out in this, like, weird void, like, this Nadine thing that, like, so he doesn't engage really with any of the other main characters. Norma's not a main character.
Yeah, we haven't seen him and James together since James has been out of the pokey. Yeah, he hasn't done any Bookhouse Boy stuff for a while. He wasn't around for Audrey's recovery.
He's written off. He's like off in this, like, we don't know what to do with him, so he has to deal with Nadine's weirdness right now, and that's okay. All right, that's where he's at. But we don't even know what that is, aside from her just acting bizarre.
I mean, you can't really call that amnesia, can you? You just call it like regressive personality disorder, or
I don't know what it is.
It's made up, is what it is. I don't think it's real, but
so it's
dumb? An interesting plot device. I won't disagree with you there, and I won't lie. I thought it was pretty dumb when I was a kid too. You know, Ed and Nadine were never my favorite characters on this show.
She has crazy strength, and I only hope that somehow comes into play for a use. But I'm guessing that it will not, because the show doesn't know what to do with the shit it creates sometimes. So
we'll see what the future holds for Ed and Nadine.
Exactly.
I think it might be
I'm just the noob
before we get this much focus on them again. So soak it in while you can.
Just a lot of stupid shit like this for the next 20 episodes, right? Yeah, I got you. No.
Oh, we don't have 20 to go.
I know.
Only 14.
Only 15. 14. All right.
Poor Leo is home alone until Bobby and Mike show up. Yeah, the other Mike. Remember him?
Oh, hey.
He's
Bobby's
back.
friend.
Dumb letter jacket and all. Yeah, Donna's ex. I don't think we ever get a reference to that again. Bobby fills Mike in about the whole story of the night Leo was shot for the second time. Leo is not much help, but Bobby eventually figures out to check and see if something might be hidden inside the soles of those boots. Lo and behold, there is, and it's a microcassette.
Microcassette.
Could this be the opportunity that Bobby was looking for? Or is this just another recording of a dumb Jacoby therapy session?
All I know is that Leo outacted those two living guys. Okay.
New shoes.
No shoes.
In the conference room at the sheriff's station, Cooper is going over the remains of Laura's diary.
More donuts.
More donuts, big plate, and they seemed like very large donuts.
They
didn't
were.
they?
They seemed like those look tasty.
Those ones looked really appetizing.
Mm-hmm.
I will confess. Cooper is going over the remains of Laura's diary, dictating his findings to Diane on his own microcassette. Big plate of donuts in full view in the foreground. He notes that Laura makes mentions of Bob dating all the way back to early adolescence, which include descriptions of regular abuse and molestation, and also several indications that Bob is a friend of her father. He then focuses on a line that was barely 2 weeks before her death. Someday I'm going to tell the world about Ben Horn. I'm going to tell everyone who he really is.
Cue Audrey.
Yeah, real coincidentally, Audrey then shows up to let Cooper know all the salacious details that her father just shared with her that morning. Dominoes are starting to fall.
Which kind of sucks here because like that'd be a good thing to have and let hang into another episode. And that's how you draw out. That's how you draw out these kind of shows. I know what he's under pressure and he's having to do these things, so they're having to kind of wrap things up. I think this is one of the reasons I don't really like this episode because I see where it's being just hamstrung and cut, and I'm actually surprised that this is the type of episode that David Lynch would want to direct. Ultimately,
that he didn't go the Alan Smithy route on this one.
Like I would direct any other episode.
Have control over, like the person who was in the editing room was, one of his crew. So
sure, but I think
it wasn't like they locked him out of final edit or anything.
I think directing the episode directly after this. I don't know what this episode is directly after this episode, but I think that's the episode where you get crazy. I think this episode you just give it to someone to make, and then anyway, whatever.
Well,
we can get into that later.
We can get into that later. But this, this includes the lore of, the spirits, which is what Lynch is most directly tied to as far as
is this really is that his
input.
Thing?
As far as his creative input into the series, that's a big part of it. Yeah.
Oh my god, the dumbest aspect is his choice. That's rough.
The spirits. Okay. Well, things get weirder later,
sure. But all right,
we get there later.
Okay.
Audrey shows up to let Cooper know, blah blah blah, dominoes are starting to fall. Truman enters as Cooper sends Audrey home, swearing her to secrecy. Cooper notes to Truman that Mike had his seizure as soon as Ben Horn entered the room that morning. Too many coincidences now. Sounds like they're going to have to bring him in.
I don't understand. I still don't understand. I'm still confused. He's not wearing his coat. Truman just looks like a Ghostbuster. He just looks like a Ghostbuster. He's just missing the band. He's literally just missing the Ghostbuster band.
Is he wearing like a jumpsuit?
He's basically looks like he's wearing a jumpsuit. He's like wearing that canvas looking. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a shirt and pants, but it just looks like Ghostbuster attire. If he had the little Ghostbuster patch on his arm, right here,
right there, and was carrying
he'd be a Ghostbuster because he's not wearing that jacket with his badge on it.
You're right. The badge he does keep on his jacket.
I'm just like, what? Why do you keep making this guy? Why do you keep making this guy wear this weird fucking clown outfit?
I mean, to me, he's always dressed like someone who expects he could end up getting lost in the forest at any given time.
Really? Because to me, he's just dressed up like a Ghostbuster all the time, except sometimes he has this weird flannel jacket on with his badge.
And a wool collar. Don't forget the wool collar.
Jesus. Anyway.
Keeps you warm in those cold winters in the Northwest.
I'm still confused. I'm putting my foot down on it. Dumb. Okay. Oh, this is dumb. That's another dumb.
That also gets the stamp of dumb. Truman's outfit.
Yeah, it's 100% dumb. How did Josie find him What the fuck? She who is so into clothes and glamour and looking.
Right? He never drags him along shopping. He's like, "Oh, try this on. It's chamois."
You're not gonna try at least a pair of Levi's and a white T-shirt or a white shirt
I'm
buttoned
going to
up?
go back and look at this scene just to see what it is you're bitching about. To see if it
Do
actually
it.
is a jumpsuit or if it's
I don't
two
know if it's a
pieces.
jumpsuit, but it fucking looks like a jumpsuit because of his cop belt. So you
Well,
can't really
that's what
tell.
the Ghostbusters wear is
Just look.
jumpsuits.
I know
so-
they do. I know they do, Gabe. But I'm saying it looks like a good enough knockoff, even if it's a two-piece. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, we'll see. Oh, this is going to be fun. Look at all the ways that my voice text tried to spell Tojimura.
Oh my god.
And I have to say it a lot in this summary. But yeah, so it looks like the day has gone by rather quickly as it's already evening at the Great Northern. Ben is in his office with Tojimura and his assistant going over the details. Jerry reports that everything is on the up and up from the Tokyo side of things. But before Ben can sign the contract that Tojimura hands him, the sheriff makes his entrance, flanked by Cooper, Hawk, and Andy. Ben is indignant and at the interruption, and his indignance grows as the sheriff tells him his reason for the visit. He seems to be losing his shit completely as he demands everyone leaves so he can go out for a sandwich. Then he decides to choose the Ned Flanders route of being dragged out of his office in cuffs, kicking and screaming like a toddler, as Tojimura and his assistant look on in astonishment. This seemed very out of character to me for Ben Horn.
Yeah, it's a little
Like,
comical. Really?
He's a guy that rarely loses his cool in front of other people.
What are you talking about? What are you?
In front of other people.
Earlier, when he's storming around like a fucking infant in his.
That was a rare incident.
Oh, that was a. Okay. I
You
will
don't
say
see that before this.
there's something fun that David Lynch does with Ben Horn when he's standing there before he chicken shits and runs away. They light him with blue eyeballs on his glasses, the reflections.
And they do it to Tojimura too, I noticed.
And it's just kind of funny, like he's got these dead blue devil eye things going on, and I just like, oh, that's kind of fun.
The way he frames that light directly where the iris and the pupil would be. Yeah,
exactly. So it's kind of fun. Clearly, anyway. My only last comment. I mean, aside from the fact that Tojimura is clearly a fucking person.
We're almost there.
I know we are. Coop is an awful federal agent that he couldn't tell that this person is in fucking makeup. He even kind of does a slight bow to him.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, as he leaves, he kind of does this kind of like nod, and it's just like, dude, Coop, what the fuck, dude? Anyway, but again, very Coop light. This was kind of a Truman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely gets more of the lead on this. Coop is just kind of support here.
Coop, I
will note that mentioned an arrest warrant,
right?
And I don't know that they had enough evidence to support that. The sheriff does just say he wants to bring him in for questioning, which I thought made way more sense from, a realism standpoint.
It's interesting though that Horn does
the spirit possessing the one-armed man thinks he might be the guy.
But Horn does reach out to Coop in that sequence, saying
he does. He's like,
hey, it's like
like makes an appeal to reason,
right?
But he also knows that Coop and the sheriff are buddy, and Coop wouldn't be there if he didn't have the sheriff's back.
Here's the one thing I was thinking.
That's a desperation tactic for sure.
Even if he didn't kill her, he still fucked her.
Yeah, and that doesn't reflect well on him.
That is not.
I mean, we don't have a time frame between when he fucked her to when
she was in high school and not in high school.
Well,
what? That's illegal.
There's legality.
It's still illegal.
I don't know that.
Fucking high school students.
I'm not saying this as a defense, but I'm saying there's like an age of consent that Like, and some like of the dumb Bible Belt states, it's 14 or something, right?
Sure, but it
I
would
don't know
still
what
be
it is. I
frowned.
don't know what it is in Washington.
Sure,
I
but
am
it
not
would still be
saying
frowned
it's not
upon.
a shitty thing to do.
I think it. I
I'm
think.
just saying I don't think they could arrest him for it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they could. I'm pretty sure there's been lots of people. Anyway,
Well, I mean, there is that whole trafficking across the country thing. But
you know the other thing that's wild about this is
what?
that if just the fact that Audrey has this information and she brought it to a federal agent that they're obviously doing some kind of human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have to arrest him for killing Laura Palmer. You can arrest him for a million other things that he's doing. But anyway,
Well, I don't know if they've got a case there with Battis dead.
dead. Yeah, I don't know how you have a case one of your guys in your company is dead now.
Well, but
That
he
would
was the
open up a
main
case.
pipeline guy. No,
But that
he's
would
yeah,
that would
there's
open it. That would open a case.
plausibility.
That would open a case. Like, oh, we should probably take a look at this fucking Horn. Anyway,
Well, we'll see what the future holds for Ben Horn.
all I'm saying is David Lynch's fantasy FBI. It's this other level. It's this other genre of federal agent.
Yeah,
That
it's
has
the impression he got from watching
aliens
The Untouchables.
and
You know,
midgets and young dudes and giants and it's just got a lot of. It's got a lot of other things going on that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, would Cooper work on the X-Files? I think that would be right up his alley.
At least that was somewhat more plausible.
X-Files?
Yes. At least the way it was ran and grounded in reality. Twin Peaks is not. I mean, sure, X-Files is investigating things that aren't real, but the two people are still grounded in a reality. Whereas the people in Twin Peaks are not grounded in any reality that I know of.
There wasn't much 90s TV that was.
What are you talking about? Cheers, super grounded.
Yeah, oh yeah. Cheers is very
Sometimes you wanna go. Anyway, go ahead.
Moving on, we return to the sheriff's station where the deputies are ushering Ben Horn to his holding cell as Cooper and Truman are approached in the waiting room by Margaret, the log lady.
This is where we saw the dude that was sitting in for what's her name?
For Lucy.
Lucy,
yeah, we have a
anyway.
temp receptionist who's wearing the sheriff's station uniform, so maybe he's a deputy from another station. Who knows?
He's an extra.
He wasn't wearing a badge, but anyway. He's got no lines. Why are we talking about him?
Because Lucy wasn't there.
Yeah, we do miss Lucy.
But her name placard was there, which is funny. So it did say Lucy, but it was a dude. Anyway. I'm just defending her. God, jeez.
Margaret continues her role as the town oracle by letting Cooper know that there are owls in the roadhouse. Cooper seems to demonstrate some understanding. Clearly, he is also feeling whatever energy that Margaret also seems to be sensing.
I wrote, it's log. It's log. It's big. It's heavy. It's wood.
It's prophetic.
It's log. It's log. Isn't that Ren and Stimpy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's better than bad. It's good.
It's good. Yeah.
All kids love log. Anyway, I don't think that's the first time that joke has been made in a Twin Peaks recap.
Well, we're making it right now.
Well, we're making it again, folks, because it's low-hanging fruit.
It's the first time, actually, in our episodes, I'm pretty sure. And we're in season 2. Yes, I've never made it before.
Are you sure about that?
100%. I could bet you a lifetime supply of beer.
I don't really drink beer anymore, but
I do.
Moving on.
So
you do.
I need you to prove me wrong, and then because I know I'm right is what I'm saying.
Anyway. The clouds blow over the full moon as Pete fixes himself a midnight snack in the kitchen of the Blue Lodge. He seems to catch sight of something in the dark, but dismisses it. We, however, are able to see Mr. Tojimura approaching silently.
All right. So right, this is happening. I
Yeah,
go, I
this is
go, I go. It's totally her. And then how it plays out, I go, weird choice.
weird choice.
It's like, what? Like, don't even take it off. Just anyway.
Just
kiss him as a man.
I mean, I'm not sure how it was attached, but
who cares?
We'll go over this. I've got a whole segment on this.
All right, go ahead.
At the end of the show.
Oh, okay.
So we'll go over the rest of the recap before we tell the tale of Fumio Yamaguchi.
All right.
So anyway, Tojo and Pete seem to have hit it off better at the bar than we thought, as Tojimura greets Pete with a huge kiss.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pete drops his dishes in shock and what was he carrying? He had like 3 plates and a glass of milk and like a mug of coffee too.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that he was carrying anything. I thought he was
thing.
eating at the bar, and then he got up, and I didn't think he had anything.
No,
and then he had
sandwich.
everything. He had everything.
Yeah, he was loaded up. But he drops it all and staggers back, trying to gain his wits as the Japanese investor confesses a strange attraction, oh, damn it, to the depth of Pete's eyes. His voice slowly becoming her voice in the process. That's right. Tojimura was none other than Catherine in disguise all along. She survived the mill fire, and it would seem she's got a pretty elaborate revenge plan in mind.
Okay, fine, cool, whatever. I don't get this though, because like, she never ever really felt. It never ever seemed like she was any longer that interested in Pete. Like, so like.
Don't you remember they had that big scene where they had their reunion right before she went into the fire?
Kind of. I mean, it was
like
not
the
that
big emotional scene where she begged for his help.
I don't think it was this big. I still don't buy it. I don't know. I feel it's weird. I don't know.
It's weird for her to show any affection to Pete, is what you're saying.
Especially on this grand of scale. It's just a weird.
I think she's just so excited that this has finally worked out for her.
Sure.
I mean, she's definitely got leverage over Horn now, given the circumstances that he's in.
I guess, but like, he didn't sign the contract, so then why blow her cover now?
Well, for one, he needs an alibi.
Horn?
Ben Horn does.
Yeah, but what?
Who was he with on the night that Laura was murdered?
Oh, I see. He's fucking, yeah.
Yeah. He's got a sex addiction, it would seem.
Okay, that's fine, but it's pretty clear that this episode's kind of a mindfuck.
See, here's what I don't understand. Well, okay, I didn't understand at the time. But here's what we should be wondering. Ben said that Jerry went to Tokyo and investigated, and everything cleared. The check from the Bank of Tokyo for $5 million cleared. It was legit. All of Tojimura's backing was legit.
It'd be great if Catherine murdered
Where did
Jerry.
It come from?
It'd be great if Catherine just murdered Jerry. But, like, that didn't happen, obviously.
No. Nothing so brutal as that.
Or Catherine's fucking Jerry. That'd be a great plot twist, too. Did they do that? No, probably not.
No, I don't think she's his type.
See, that'd be great. Well, who knows? Probably is. There's just a lot of holes. It's just so holy.
It's a lot easier to get away with this sort of thing 35 years ago than it is now.
Because we all think...
Particularly in an era where there was no high-definition television. When you're 13 years old, sitting 3 feet away from a 20-inch TV screen, that makeup was way more convincing.
And Audrey just looking so hot. You're just like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, you're not paying attention to anything but her.
2 scenes? Only 2 scenes this week? Fuck this
Yeah,
episode.
but she looked amazing.
This episode's dumb.
That's the chief complaint is the lack of Audrey?
I mean, that's always
things are going to be rough.
No, I know, but that's been the chief
Things are
complaint
gonna be rough.
for the last few episodes because it's been pretty sad. I mean, Audrey was a badass, and then they just made her a wuss, and then
once the seasons changed,
yeah,
Audrey was definitely
Kyle
pigeonholed
MacLachlan
into a
and
different spot.
fucking what's her name, Donna, trying to get rid of her, trying to like offer.
That's hearsay that's been disputed by the principal parties.
You brought it up though.
I did. I got
to use it. I got to use that.
It's salacious.
Got to put it in the chamber.
It earns views. Yeah.
Anyway.
But
I mean, not that Donna got any more time in this episode, really.
No, I mean Donna doesn't do any better than Audrey does for the rest of the series. Yeah, I wouldn't argue that there's a lot of emphasis on strong female characters in the back half here. Not like we saw with Audrey's presence in season 1.
That's too bad, too.
And it is unfortunate because it was a meaty role at that point. She did great. She earned that Emmy nomination for it. So it's a shame to not see them take advantage of that momentum and ride that wave instead, just kind of like, relegating Audrey to the supporting cast instead without much to do besides serve to move the main plot along or at least throw out some red herrings.
To get an Emmy nod for such a weird show, that's kind of cool. Anyway, Gabe, carry us on.
Yes, the show must move forward.
Plow this horse.
Plow this horse in the roadhouse. We haven't gotten to the horse yet.
I know.
Now at the roadhouse, we're seeing our first appearance from Julie Cruz. She and the band perform some easygoing pop as James and Donna discuss the fate of Harold Smith over peanuts and cigarettes.
And Coke or Cola.
Eventually, yeah. They must be on their second round because they didn't get their Cokes until after everybody else got their beers.
Oh, hey, kids in a bar again. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Bobby doing shots. James tries to convince Donna that they did nothing wrong. Harold was a very disturbed individual, blah, 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 blah. James is displaying very little compassion for Harold here. But Donna is, clearly shaken up about the whole thing, and rightfully so. She sees the human side of Harold, even if James is going to be kind of a dick about the whole thing.
Can I be honest about Donna for a second?
Sure.
Donna's lost and confused.
Yeah.
She just needs to get fucked good. And she'll just forget about all of this and move on. Like, I don't know what James is doing. He's so lost and confused in himself. It's like all these teenagers. It's like are teenagers really this stupid? Like, let's just
Yeah. I kind of wondered that myself watching this one the first time around. They didn't really feel like teenagers to me at that point because again we so rarely saw them in school after those first couple of episodes.
They're all being sultry and adult,
right?
But all they really want to do is
they've all grown up far too fast.
Just do it. Just get it on and move on. Like stop.
They want to make the way their heart feels last forever.
Just like, come on, David Lynch, you're stuck in a situation.
Just wait until you put your pee-pee in of a JJ, James.
David Lynch is just...
Imagine how your heart's going to feel then.
But that's what I'm saying, is like David Lynch never experienced that. So he's stuck in this fantasy of never being that teenager. And he's just stuck in these, like, rewinds. And so we are stuck watching his art over and over again because he never got to experience it. And so we suffer through it because it took him forever. And I think that's honestly what's going on. And if that isn't what's going on, I'm confused because he shares it with us over and over and over. Oh, we'll switch a medium. We'll go to a different medium and do the same thing over and over. And I'm like, dude, come on, man. Come on, man. I don't know. I'm starting to like. I feel
an artist that resorts to similar themes.
I feel a little shitty because I honestly feel like, Gabe, I don't think this is what you wanted me to experience while watching the show, but like I actually took Lynch down a shelf because of this show. I think
You'll bring him back up once we get to the return.
You say that, but I don't know. I mean, I've hated.
Return is an 18-hour Lynch movie. So
you say that. We'll see. We'll see, brother. Okay. All right. But I have taken him down.
Think,
I've taken him down.
Lynch would even agree that this episode would not be qualified as his best work.
It's not even just this piece of work. It's like this work as a whole is. I mean, I haven't seen it all yet, but I don't think.
We'll see. Hard to judge it fairly as a whole at this point.
You're 100% right.
Okay.
You're 100% right. All right, carry on. Sorry.
But I've lost my place. We're still at the Roadhouse. We're still with Donna and James, and he's still making a mess with all the peanuts.
But they're eye fucking each other a little bit.
They are, and Donna gets a little playful here a little later on.
Mm-hmm.
The sheriff enters with Cooper and the log lady. Wonder if they all rode together. That would be a fun car ride. Who chose the music? The log did.
Oh my god.
My log wants to listen to Elton John.
Can I be honest for a second? So the song she's singing isn't their song, right?
I Want You Right Back Inside My Heart.
Yeah, that's not the song they were singing, right?
Who was singing?
Oh, way back.
Oh, no, that's just man. You and I.
That would have been a great callback. Oh my god.
They all have a contributing songwriter to them, who I'm sure you've guessed, given the aesthetic of the song that, seeks to recapture a lost era that some people might not have gotten to live a proper childhood in.
Anyway, Lynch is cool.
Or them.
He's a cool guy. He's cool. Anyway, it just felt like cool. I was starting to think.
This is still so proto Lynch.
But here's the thing. Like when she started singing that song, when it opened to her, it's like, this is not that song, right? I was like, I couldn't really remember that song, but it then kind of felt like that song. And then the way that Donna and James were acting about it.
Tones.
Yes. And I was just like, I don't want to go back and listen to that song because I didn't like it. This is a little bit better because I don't know. But I don't know. I just felt like, man, that'd be kind of funny if it was just that song. I would have done that. I would have been a dick and done that.
I think you'll recognize it when you hear it again. And you will hear it again, as we established last week.
I should go back and listen to it. So I know I got to refresh.
It's called Just You and I.
Just You and I.
Just You. It's slower paced than this one, too.
That's what I thought. But I was still like, she was kind of wasn't Donna mouthing the lyrics?
It was supposed to be her and Maddie singing backup.
Oh, really?
They were supposed to be singing backup vocals.
Oh, well, Donna at the table was, I think, mouthing it.
At the table, she's just lip syncing.
And so part of me was like,
just playing along.
Is this that song again?
I can see where you would think that. But no, that's supposed to be something they wrote by themselves in the living room.
No, I would have loved that, though. I would have loved that callback. Anyway. All right, sorry.
Dude, Cooper. Wait, no. I wonder if they all rode together. Blah blah blah. Haha. James let Donna know that Maddie will be leaving for Missoula in the morning. Donna expresses her surprise that Maddie didn't say anything to her directly about it. Meanwhile, Cooper and the Log Lady are going to town on the peanuts and beer as the band plays on.
And Truman.
We don't see him eating or drinking, though.
He has a beer, though.
He does, but we never see him drink
Okay,
from
you're
it.
right. But it's like,
And we never see him eat any peanuts.
aren't
Only
these
Cooper and the
guys-
Log Lady go after the peanuts.
Aren't these guys working, technically? Should they be Why are they drinking beer right now?
No, I think they're off the clock.
They're
for
not
the
off the
night.
clock. They had
a busy day, man. They caught the killer.
No, they were at the office. They were
They're
working.
at the sheriff's station.
They were at the
yeah.
sheriff's station, and then she came in and then gave them another job. They were not off the clock. Not pedos, but
Nope,
drinking
they're
on the
just
job.
drinking on the job.
It's like Beverly Hills Cop, you know.
Drinking on the job in the town where they had court in a bar. Who would have thought it?
Oh my God, that bar.
That
Actually,
very same bar. Yes. The very same bar that Nine Inch Nails will play in one
you
day.
mean that very same set? Anyway, all right.
Time passes, and we see Bobby at the bar doing shots. We also see the naval contingent there enjoying some Heinekens. Thank Christ they put the goddamn rubber balls away.
Made no sense.
As Cooper continues to watch the band, they suddenly fade out and are replaced by a vision of the giant, who solemnly intones, "It is happening again."
Wait. I agree with this, but I thought there was a shot before this. It cuts, and it does show Laura's mom coming down the stairs before, and then it cuts back to the bar.
You're right. And I remember...
Right?
Yeah, and I skipped that.
Okay, sorry.
That actually happens after the Catherine reveal.
Because then that's when she sees the horse, right?
Yes, my mistake.
Oh, okay. Because this is a big deal, I think, a little bit.
Oh God, we've skipped.
Yeah, I said I made the horse thing. You said not yet, and you went straight to the roadhouse, and I was like, no.
Oh no, yeah, we've skipped two scenes
Okay.
that are really key. So excuse us while we go back a little bit.
I was like kind of confused. Like,
yeah, no, that's my fault, folks. Sorry, I skipped too far ahead in my notes.
who's the noob now? Now
right?
I am
Oh,
the
shit.
master.
So yeah, let's go back to after Ben Horn gets hauled off to jail.
Right.
Out of his office as Tojimura and his assistant look on in astonishment. Now, something feels amiss at the Palmer household as we hear that low, ominous drone that generally indicates that bad things are afoot.
But also the sound of the record scratching.
Yes, the record continues to spin as the needle bounces at the end.
Yeah.
And we get a quick look at the floor from the vacuum's point of view.
Mhm.
This was an interesting shot, like just on the carpet, moving in reverse.
Right.
And then we see Sarah slowly crawling headfirst down the stairs. Something appears to be very wrong with her as she weakly calls out for her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Returning to the sheriff's station, the deputies usher Horn into his holding cell. Blah, 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 blah. We've done this already.
Mhm.
Sorry for skipping all of that.
It's only a big part of the show, but it's okay.
Jesus, yeah. Oh, man, that was bad of me. Sorry, folks. This was such an important episode for me to not screw up.
How many beers have you had?
I'm still working on whiskey number 1 here. So after... Dummy, it's me! It's me! The mood continues to feel uneasy at the Palmer house. Sarah is dragging herself across the floor with her hands. She appears to have lost the use of her legs. As she reaches the living room, she sees a vision of a pale horse standing calmly in a spotlight right there on the carpet before she eventually loses consciousness.
So I put Gandalf's horse?
No.
No.
Shadowfax.
No, it's not. I've been here before. I know what this is. I guess
pale
it's
horse.
the pale horse, and Death rode in on it. And so
Yeah, that one's a pretty obvious
I
metaphor.
put it in that like Leland's change. So that's what I'm thinking in my head. Is like, what? Wait, they're gonna put this on Leland? He's the killer? That's kind of where I was at here.
When you saw the horse.
That, but then it goes somewhere else. And anyway.
Right. The camera pans up to the record player, which continues to spin, and then it pans over to Leland, who is obliviously adjusting his tie in a mirror.
Right. So that's where right there I was like, oh, I get this. I've seen that Clint Eastwood movie, The Pale Rider. The girl quotes like the Bible, and he rode in on a pale horse, and what killed everybody, whatever. So like, yeah, and like Leland has had this whole change. He's changed. He's very aggressive and kind of different.
Right. He had the hair go all white.
And so like, oh, they're making Leland the killer? Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Not exactly.
So yeah. Then we get our scene at the Roadhouse.
Right.
Oh, God, I feel bad about screwing
You're
that up.
fine. It's fine. Everyone knows listening. They're cool. They were like,
the pacing,
they were just yelling at their computers like, what the fuck, dude? I caught it in time. It wasn't too many scenes. We're fine.
But the pacing is so key to that reveal.
I suppose.
Anyway, it is happening again. The ominous drone fades in as we dissolve back to the skipping record player. Leland smiles at himself in the mirror, and Bob smiles back. He faces the stairs in anticipation and puts on a pair of rubber gloves as Sarah continues to lie unconscious on the floor. Maddie makes her way down the stairs, complaining of an awful burning smell, as she sees Sarah on the floor, and then looks up to see both Bob and Leland, and shrieks in terror, realizing that she is doomed.
Well, she only sees Leland, but...
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure.
She's in the spotlight.
Who cares about the spotlight?
Here's
my problem with this.
By the damned.
Here's my problem with all this bullshit.
I don't think she would have instantly started screaming if she hadn't have seen Bob. I think she would have asked her uncle, "What's wrong, Uncle Leland? You look weird."
Nah. I wrote, I should have seen this coming. Doe! Here's my Simpsons reference. This plot device is lame. If the show was good, the writers could have made Leland the killer, and we could have bought it. I think
had they dragged it out,
if they had done it right, if they had good writers, this whole, I guess, Lynch spirit alien bullshit, dumb, so fucking dumb. Just the dumbest fucking dumb. I don't think anyone sees Bob or these alternate. We don't see Mike. We don't see who Mike really is. We just see, what's his regular name?
Philip Gerard. Yeah,
Philip Gerard. We just see Philip Gerard. We don't see. I think Bob is this thing they created.
Ronette Pulaski saw Bob.
Who cares? It's dumb. It's Leland or it's. I honestly could buy the fact that Leland, as a dad, would want to kill his daughter because she's whoring around town. He's disrespecting her. She's making, and he got his job. If he lost his job, I mean, we're talking, okay, I know we're kind of skipping ahead a little bit. Fuck it, the pacing. But I could see how that would drive his status. His status gets fucking fucked. It's like, I could see where all of that and his pride, that in a moment he could do it. He would regret it 100%. It's his daughter. But I see how you could, as a writer, do that. Instead, Lynch doesn't... I don't think Lynch trusts the audience and then makes up excuses like, oh, this is... But honestly, Bob is really just an analog for Leland's anger towards how shitty his daughter was. Now, the fact that he kills Maddie is a totally different thing and random, and that's just for the show to be the show. I don't think Leland would ever kill Maddie, honestly. Like, I would have done this show way different nowadays. Whatever. I mean, how much of this spirit bullshit alien stuff does the Return use? Yeah, see, we're gonna have issues, man. Good, maybe not so good. I know. Anyway, that's where I'm at, kind of on it right now. That's kind of where I'm sitting on it. I just feel it seems like a cop out. It's
the barest glimpse.
It seems like a cop out, Gabe. It just seems like
in
a
a way.
cop out.
I feel like it is too. But it's interesting that you bring this discussion up because the characters are actually going to have that discussion at some point. Some of the more pragmatic characters might posit some theories that sound a little more in line with reality.
Well, does Leland survive out through this season?
Do you want me to spoil that for you?
Yeah, just spoil. I mean,
no.
Okay, then that makes sense. But if he survived out the season, then I would say like there is some weird shit going on in this show. You know.
I mean, it's plausible. Like, they promised to reveal the killer. They never promised that the killer would get caught. But I'm not sure if that was something that the network forced them into as well, or... Anyway, Well,
I just feel bad because, like, they gave us like last episode or whatever, like, about, like, oh, they can take over beings and possess them and everything. And so as I'm watching, it's like... oh, Leland's the killer. But it didn't dawn on me that I should think like, oh, maybe he's possessed by the thing that they've been telling us. And then I didn't really think they were going to be so blatant with, like, all of that with Bob is just the cheesiest, awful, like, what am I watching? Like, it's just awful. It's just, like, really done poorly. Like, I would say the only good shot is where she comes down and Leland turns away from the mirror and you see Bob in the reflection of the mirror.
Yeah, where they do the simultaneous
That is
turn.
the only good thing they do. Everything else with the spotlight, and it's just like, it's like, do we not know what the fuck to do here? Like, it's just like, I don't know how to shoot this. What are we... And this is David Lynch. But I feel like it's just done so shitty.
We have very differing opinions.
Oh, you think it's done well?
I thought it was done well in the sense that it conveys the sense of fear and horror that Maddie is feeling at the moment, especially just like the slow motion aspect of the scenes where Bob is taking control of Leland, or where Bob is being seen.
This is the other thing I don't understand. So, like, Mike and what's his name? I keep forgetting the other guy. Philip and Mike.
Apparently, they look identical,
but they exist separately. They don't exist together. Leland and Bob seem to somehow coexist a little bit.
In defense of this, Mike had said to Cooper that he and Bob were similar spirits. Not the same, but similar.
Sure.
So, using minutia to defend certain attacks on plot armor.
So Bob is making Leland be a pedo.
That's the implication.
And Bob's a pedo. So, like, we got
Bob thrives. Well,
what do we got? Like 4 or 5 pedos in this episode. It's aggressive. It's like Pacific Northwest pedo capital of the world. Apparently, you can write us at blankasheart@gmail.com.
Yeah. I'm so glad you're taking this tack on this episode. Really makes it marketable.
Oh, it's actually what's going to make this marketable.
Right, yeah. This is going to get the most hits on YouTube of anything.
No, I'm bringing the punches that no one... Who else brought this heat to this show? I'm bringing the heat to this show. This show needs to be... I'm not saying... I don't know
So
what I'm
were you
saying. I don't know what I'm
uncomfortable
saying.
watching this scene? Like, did this make you
No,
like,
no, no, no.
no?
This it didn't make me feel uncomfortable. It was weird, and it's like,
I mean, it's a murder. It's a murder scene that lasts almost 5 minutes,
yeah, and he's just
and he's
it's a
he's punching her to death,
yes, and it's
like with his
a
bare hands.
no, it's like a
Like, and
cat. No, but it's like a cat just fucking around with a mouse.
that
Like
too,
it just punches it and fucks it, kind of bites it, throws it around,
right?
plays with it.
And I know that seems tame after The Sopranos,
No, no,
but
no.
this again, I don't think you're viewing this scene from the lens of
You're right.
35 years
You're
ago.
right. 100%. I get that, but I also don't think it's done that well. Like as a filmmaker, I don't think it's done that well or whatever. I just feel like
I
it's
mean,
done very
yeah,
shoddy.
maybe this is just hearkening back to memory, but I mean, for me, like this felt more visceral. It felt harder to watch for me now. Like I felt more disturbed by this scene now than I did when I originally watched it.
I think it would have been more disturbing for me that if Bob and Leland were existing at the same time in this, and Bob was trying to make him get fresh with Maddie, and Leland
Like
was
if Leland
fighting
was
it,
fighting it.
but was still doing it.
I
And
think we
that would be
still
aggressively disgusting. But like the
I
fact
think
that
we
he's
kind of
into
get
it,
that.
I don't know. I don't feel like it.
We kind of get it during like the scene where he's kind of spinning dancing with her, where it's like Bob is
Maybe.
like, kissing all over her, but Leland is like calling her Laura
Maybe it's too
and
late.
crying.
Maybe it's too late at that point. I just kind of tapped
Yeah,
out.
I think he's like, but again, it's the whole duality thing, and I think Maddie is seeing both of them. I think she's
You think
like
so?
yeah,
I
because now
don't.
that she's officially damned, she's Bob's not afraid.
I don't think she sees Bob. I think she only sees Leland. That's in my head.
Well, in that case, I think I don't know why Ronette Pulaski would have freaked out at a sketch of Bob, but would have no recognition of Leland. Although I don't know if she was ever shown a picture of Leland or not, but she clearly reacted to the picture of Bob.
I get that. No, I get that. I get that.
So
I see what
she
you're
would have seen
saying.
him in the moment.
With the continuity of that, I understand what
Yeah.
you're saying, but
That Bob would actually physically manifest at a point during the actual murder or the commission of the crime. Because also remember that all of Laura's diary entries are about Bob. She doesn't say it's her father
they
molesting her.
do a
She says
really
it's
good
Bob
job of
molesting her.
only ever really having Leland. Like they do a flash of Bob, but they really only. Why not just? If that was the thing, then why not just make it be Bob? Instead, they want Leland. They want us. See, Lynch is just fucking with us to make us think like it is Leland and maybe not Bob. And I feel like Bob is a figment. I don't.
See, this is the whole thing.
It is the whole
there
thing.
is
I get.
It's
This is
the
what they're.
discussion,
No, this is
right?
what they're hanging us onto. This is what they're trying. This is what they're trying to create. This discussion right
The
here.
ambiguity. Yes,
Right, 100%.
exactly.
I
And
think.
yeah, it's now that we're starting to get into this sort of stuff where we're not getting full explanations for this sort of thing.
But I.
Like the question up until now has always been who. And now that we have that question answered, the real question is why.
Well, aliens are perverts, I guess. I don't know.
It would seem so. There are a lot of this gets elaborated on when we get to Fire Walk with Me.
Oh, really?
Yes, because Fire Walk with Me is essentially like the last week of Laura Palmer's life.
Is that like a sequel to Fire in the Sky? With,
Totally.
D.B.
With
Sweeney
aliens
and the aliens.
and perverts.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. I apologize. It's the same, almost the same time period, right? No?
A few years after that,
Anyway.
they were capitalizing on the X-Files wave. I've seen that film. Not a bad film.
Dude, that is one of the most scariest alien things when they pull that like alien cheesecloth over his head and then like
And
put the
suffocate the
needle.
shit out of him?
Yeah, and then they put the needle in. As a kid, when I watched that, scariest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, and that's how it was advertised as too. But it's only like the last 5 minutes of the movie.
Right. Instead, it's just
Everything else is just
it's just a logger
dudes in
under
forest.
a logger
Yeah.
under a fucking dining room table with syrup dripping down. This is like what?
Yeah.
Anyway, which is much like this show. No.
There's things to enjoy and there's things to poke at. But,
Is there anything
yeah.
else we need to talk about the actual show before we really get into this? Like, I don't know. Oh, we should probably
There's,
continue
a couple
the
little things. Yeah, I mean, it's just the scene it's a brutal murder of an innocent young woman at the bare hands of her own uncle.
and we see the
So-
elk photo painting again. He throws
Yes.
her into it, and that's brutal.
Missoula, Montana.
Yeah, well,
Once he's done beating his own niece to death, Leland/Bob places the letter O underneath Maddie's fingernail with
Which
an
was
X-Acto
aggressive.
knife.
actually, that looked aggressive this time. Like it.
Yeah, it did.
It looked aggressive. I'm curious how they did that one. Fake hand, probably.
Fake hand, maybe. It did look a little waxy. Smash cut back to the Giants' stoic but troubled face, and a confused Cooper reaches for his missing ring as the vision fades from view and the band fades back into the stage. Suddenly, from the bar, the elderly bellhop rises and approaches Cooper, offering a pat on the shoulder and a sad look and a plaintive, "I'm so sorry." Cooper's bewilderment grows, but it's clear that he can feel the sadness in the air, as can Margaret and Donna, and apparently Bobby.
Everybody.
The band quietly winds down their song as Cooper stares contemplatively at the ceiling as we fade into the red drapes and the end credits.
I don't think he's
Which
looking
are-
contemplatively. I think he knew. Also, here's the thing: the log lady took him to this place. and
It's like Field of Dreams,
yeah, it's like
you know,
you got
where he gets dragged along to the baseball
you got
field.
fucked
to have his
though.
next
Like
vision.
everyone's gonna tell you all this shit, but you're not out there doing your job. It's like these fucking spirit aliens are like fucking. Hey, oh,
Yeah.
you missed
Couldn't
it.
you have filmed
Oh,
me
by
an
the way,
hour ago?
you missed it. And then, yeah, it's pretty much. I think even he knows he missed it, and then everyone else is sad. I think he's like, oh fuck, I fucked up again.
Mhm.
But everyone else is just incredibly sad, and it's just like wild because Donna was like fucking silly and horny a minute ago, and now she's
Yeah.
just fucking crying, and it's just like, what is going on? They all know
Yeah.
that Maddie's dead.
Suddenly, Donna's an empath.
Everyone's. It's wild, and I don't know. I mean, this show, Gabe. No, I enjoy it. I enjoy it, even though I don't like it sometimes. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy it, but it's just like, wow, this is wild that this was a show that was on fucking TV. Like, of all the shows that were going to pioneer long form storytelling, it's
Mhm.
wild that this is the show and that this show ever made it on television. Because I do not understand. Like, this show should never have made it on television, especially back in 89, 90. Like,
Yeah, 90 was when the pilot aired.
it's wild to me. Like, it's like I applaud like the dicks that David Lynch and Mark Frost were sucking, because like holy shit, it's wild to me because you watch it nowadays and you get that it's of a time, sure,
Hmm.
but then at the same time it's like, why would we let this on the air? Like, aside from the fact, it's just wild. I don't know. It's a very cool time capsule to step into and see, so I can give my lens, and I know my lens is crazy critical, and I don't apologize for that, but I
No,
also
and that's the
appreciate
truth.
like I also feel like every week, Gabe, I'm watching a drinking game. Like, I should be doing shots for something. I don't know what it should be, but I just feel like, oh, something fucking weird. Just I should fucking be
Yeah.
doing.
Every time you see the shitty coffee mug that you hate, Every time Nadine displays
hey, listen,
freakish strength,
Listen, I don't think you want me to actually do that because then I would be incoherent on these
right?
episodes.
Yeah,
But
yeah, we're
but
not going to get much done.
but I would love you to drop those rules and
See if the audience wants to play along,
yeah.
and we're going to have to air some sort of disclaimer so as that we're not responsible for hospital visits or liver damage or something of that nature.
But I have the appreciation and I love that they did it and the history and there's so many things I appreciate for it that even if I don't like things about it, it doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. It doesn't mean I don't respect it.
That's fair.
So,
Sometimes when you go off, I start to wonder if you're not enjoying yourself while you watch.
oh,
this.
I'm always enjoying it, dude. It's like watching.
Like I said, I'm not expecting to like turn you into a convert here or anything. Like I don't, especially the original series. I don't know if you can fully appreciate it the way that someone who watched it as it aired
I
did.
don't think you could.
Particularly watching it for the first time in this day and age.
I don't think you could.
I think if you get anywhere past the year 2000 and you still haven't watched Twin Peaks for the first time, you're kind of fucked.
I think it's
because
impossible.
everything else is going to be light years ahead of it. I think The Sopranos really kind of ruined old television for newer
Sopranos,
generations.
The Wire. I mean, any of those shows during that time period that were kind of fighting.
They elevated the art form. They really, really raised the bar.
But they did look at Twin Peaks and it's like, hey, we don't have to tell a story
right
day after day or week after week. We could do a long form thing. And I think yes, that's why Twin Peaks
it's wild to think that was that paradigm shift. I mean, like you look at St. Elsewhere in 1980 to Twin Peaks in 1990 to The Sopranos in 99. That's a big jump in 10 years in both directions.
But you know what's wild too is that
but I think go ahead.
Soap operas have been doing it forever. And David Lynch thought, well, let's just put a soap opera in prime time.
Oh, well, he's not the first to do that. I mean, Dallas was airing in the early 80s.
Yeah,
so
but like
Dynasty.
But those shows still had. But those shows were, what do you call those shows? I mean, there's soap operas.
Terrible?
Terrible. Well, I mean, be careful.
I got a couple people who might defend them, but
they have.
If we reviewed those versus Twin Peaks, I think you would be a lot harder. Particularly,
but those shows still had. I mean, I know those shows carried on, but they still had a very. I still think they had their kind of like weekly episode. More so. I mean, even Twin Peaks does kind of really. I mean, not really. Sometimes it does. Sometimes Twin Peaks does have a thing that they do and then they end. I don't know. It's complicated.
Self-contained.
A little bit, but not a lot.
I've seen many of those in the last couple of weeks, that's for sure.
For sure.
A lot of this has been continuous plot movement of long-term stories, of which we've got several going on now.
You also don't see like major Hollywood dudes fucking doing television. Now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's look at that. Yeah.
We'll see plenty of major Hollywood names turn up in The Return.
Well, yeah, but at that point it's been normalized,
Yes, it has.
David Lynch, and we talked about it a little bit last week, like, Quentin Tarantino doing episodes of Alias and ER, but
yeah, definitely not a thing in this era.
But back then it's like, fuck no, TV's disease,
I mean, I would argue in like late 80s, early 90s, you didn't really have that kind of dynamo filmmaker anyway that would bring that sort of clout to TV, like a Tarantino or a J.J. Abrams or somebody like that.
And even David Lynch at that point.
I mean, it would be like you had Ivan Reitman, you had Steven Spielberg, both of whom dabbled in television a little bit, but
David Lynch was so fringe, right? It didn't matter. I don't think he wouldn't be creating any kind of career
I mean,
suicide
he
or
did
anything.
Dune, it was probably a little less fringe than we would think. You know, Dune was a big budget film that got a lot of airplay. It got his name everywhere, whether or not he was proud of it.
Or whether it was good.
It got his name. Hey, like all art, it's got parts that can be appreciated, and it's got parts that are just utterly nonsensical.
Wait, does it have good parts? No, anyway.
It's got a few.
Anyway.
One quick last note before we get into some fun behind-the-scenes stories is that once again, whenever Lynch directs, we get an alternate end credits sequence.
Oh, photos.
This week. Photos.
Oh, wait. Okay,
No, like the usual end credits sequence is the framed homecoming queen picture of Laura. The last time Lynch directed an episode, I think we got Gersten Hayward playing the piano over the end credits.
Right.
So this week we get Cooper's sad face, while the second number that the Julie Cruz band played, which was called "The World Spins," is playing over the end credits. So always something unique with Lynch when he's the director of those episodes.
Is there something you can talk about in Vamp really quick? Because I gotta take a fat piss, Gabe, and I'm saying like, just talk.
I'll do my best, but you know we're getting
talk about the
stuff
ratings. Talk about the ratings.
Talk about the ratings now. You don't care about that shit. All right. Let's talk about the ratings while Ian pisses, everybody. So, this episode aired on November 10th, 1990. And all the promotion about Laura's killer being revealed did pay off as we got a big bump this week. Last week we got 11.3 million viewers. This week we got 17.2 million viewers. That is almost a full 50. That is over a 50% increase. The household rating jumped to a 10.4, household share of 20%. That is 1 in every 5 households was watching this episode. Rank number 51 on the week. We would never see those kinds of highs again as we dropped back to levels below. Following week, we did 8.2. After preemptions, we would never see a rating above 8 again for the remainder of the run. And that includes the final episode. Well, I was hoping Ian would be back by now. What else should we talk about? Should we look ahead and see who directs next week's episode? We could totally do that, too. First, we've got to work with our technology here because we're not all that quick. Oh, no, we closed the tab that we didn't want to close. Oh, wait, here it is. Open up, you dreaded. All right, so yeah, this week's episode was... Oh, there you go.
What?
I was running out of space to fill.
You had it. You had it figured out, and I agree with everything you said.
Not everything. I do want to point out, while you're here to hear it, that the promotion for the reveal worked, and the ratings jumped by over 50%.
Oh, wow.
They went from 11.3 million viewers to 17.2. Household share jumped from 14% to 20%. The rating jumped from 7.6 to 10.4.
Did you watch this as a kid live, or did you watch it recorded?
Watch this one live.
Oh, yeah. You and your brother sat around. Did you guys... what was your guys' reaction?
To which part?
And all of it. I don't...
We'll start with Catherine.
Okay.
I still did not believe at that point that it was actually Piper Laurie under all the makeup.
They fucking credit her at the end.
They do. And I thought that they just recorded her voice over.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I guess that was just like we had a bad TV or something.
Okay, all right.
You know? Because like I said, you know, in 480p on a 20-inch screen, from 3 feet away as a 12-year-old kid with glasses that were probably needing an update to their prescription.
Well, actually, those TVs back then were probably 360.
Yeah, very well could have been, and I know we had an older model. So yeah, it just I was floored by that particular revelation. Like that one got me. I didn't see it coming.
But there's a lot of revelations in this episode. I mean, the revelation that Leland,
just two big ones.
Well, that Horn fucked Laura. Ben.
I think we all kind of figured that out.
Did you
once
really
we
think
knew
we think that we
Well,
always?
'cause
I
we
didn't
knew-
think it. I didn't think it.
We knew he had every new girl at One Eyed Jack's.
I
We
get
knew
that.
Laura worked at One Eyed Jack's.
I get
So
that.
I think it was implied at that point.
But did you think that as a kid?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, smarty. What? 11-year-old, 12-year-old?
12, going on 13. I think I might have been 13 by the time this one aired. November of 90. Okay, yeah, I was still just 12.
And then how do you guys handle the whole Bob situation?
I mean, that one just kind of made me sad. Just because I didn't want it to be her dad, you know? I think it kind
it's
of...
not her dad, technically.
Technically, no.
If you're gonna go the Lynch route, it's not her dad.
Is Deckard a replicant or not? You know, the age-old question. Everybody's got a different opinion.
So Bob doesn't exist. So like,
you're gonna have a tough time selling that one the further we get.
That he doesn't exist?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If Bob exists, then Leland didn't kill either of them. But then Leland gets offed, obviously. But
I mean, you start to learn more and more things about Leland that raise questions about his moral character. That, start to make it more believable that, yeah, he might be, like you were saying earlier, yeah, he could be capable of something like this.
So what's the point of having a Bob?
Again, I think it was just for Lynch to have something to continue to add mystery to,
Or is Bob a character that he gloms on to characters that are morally corrupt or bankrupt?
I mean, I think he globbed onto Bob more for the appearance than anything else.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, does Bob glob on to people because they're corrupt or morally bankrupt?
I'm skipping ahead a little bit here, but yeah, that's potentially
it's
a good way to look at it.
They're weak.
Yeah, they're more
good.
susceptible to corruption. Yeah, and the notion that, and I think might have established this at least in part already, was that like Bob's goal was to ultimately possess Laura
because she was really bankrupt or corrupt. Really, ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that was due to years of abuse at his hands. But the notion like that she was killed. The notion.
Wait. Roll that back a little bit. Did you just spoil this?
What?
That Bob has been abusing Laura?
No. We mentioned this during the diary discussion.
What? Oh.
That Laura has known about Bob since her early adolescence.
You're right.
And that,
okay. All right.
Yeah, there have been descriptions of that. Yeah.
See, this is the thing that makes me think that Bob doesn't exist. That just awful people exist. Bob is a placeholder for awful people. David Lynch is using this character as something...
As a metaphor.
As a metaphor, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of people's approach to their understanding of this show.
All right. Well, I'm going to hold on. Obviously, it sounds like that's pointless because it sounds like the Turn just has living metaphors, I guess.
Sometimes, a metaphor is just a story. And most stories start with some kernel of truth somewhere down deep inside.
Dude, we're already at 2 hours? What the fuck happened?
Jesus, we knew this was going to be a big, important episode. Yeah, 2 hours 2 hours in, and we still have yet to get to the tale of Fumio Yamaguchi.
Oh well, I don't. I don't even know.
Are you ready for this story?
Sure. Let's talk about this.
Okay.
Let's do this.
So I don't know if you've been watching the credits.
No. I mean,
the
kind
opening
of
credits.
off and on. Opening credits.
Because if you have been paying attention to the opening credits, you would have seen the name Fumio Yamaguchi.
Okay.
This is who they build the character of Mr. Tojimura as being portrayed by.
A fake person.
A fake actor.
Yes.
Piper Laurie would appear on set only in full makeup. No one in the cast was clued in to the fact that this was actually Piper Laurie playing these parts.
So they got punked. This is like a fucking jackass. What? This is wild.
They were only told that Mr. Yamaguchi spoke no English, that he was learning all of his lines phonetically with Lynch's help, and that he had worked extensively with Kurosawa in Japan.
Oh my God.
So this went on for about a week, I think. They managed to film all those scenes. The only person that came close to guessing was, damn it, I forget the actress's name now. Norma, the actress who plays Norma.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Who is Rashida Jones's mother. What is her name?
Don't you have your laptop?
Here, I'm on a page. I am going to kick myself for not being able to come up with this on my own.
She's like your hottie.
I know.
I mean, Norma's attractive anyway, but.
Oh, no, this is, of course, this is a good time for my tablet to freeze up.
Oh, I could look it up.
Why the fuck would it do this now?
Norma.
When I need it.
Twin Peaks.
There we go. I'll just reload it.
It's Peggy Lipton.
Thank you. Jesus Christ. Why was that so difficult for me? And why does it take so long to skip to the credits on this page?
Do you have an iPad or
My
just
God.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on an iPad.
Maybe it needs an update.
It's just like, I don't know. I mean, I am on like full strength Wi-Fi. I mean,
it's probably internal. It's probably not the Wi-Fi.
It's been a while since I've restarted it. That's fair. I'll be doing it after this episode wraps. That's for damn sure.
Oh, what?
So yeah, anyway, Peggy Lipton made the guess on set that this was actually Isabella Rossellini in disguise, who Lynch was dating at that time.
Rossellini is taller, isn't she?
No, she's a shorter shorter woman.
Oh, is she?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know how tall Piper Laurie is. I would put them both at like around 5'5" or 5'6". Right. That would be a guess, but all right. Who knows?
I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not sure if this performance is what contributed to Piper Laurie's Emmy nomination for this season.
She got an Emmy nom?
Kind of. Yeah, she got an Emmy nom for season 2. And I don't remember anything particularly meaty in the back half of this season that would give a reason for that.
I don't particularly think there's anything meaty in the front half of it.
I mean, aside from successfully portraying a
successfully?
By 90s terms, portraying a Japanese
know what my favorite thing? As an Asian person myself, as being part Asian. Half Asian, I suppose you would say. I love how fucking Pete is like, you look terrible. Like, just Asian, like, but she hasn't done anything. She hasn't changed. She just looks like a short Asian. But you look terrible. You look terrible. And they're laughing. It's like, oh, and I'm just thinking like, oh, so Asian people just look terrible? Like, awesome, Pete. Thanks. This is colorblind. The 90s.
Hey, this is what we call like overly sensitive.
Come on, I'm just trying to bring the woke to our podcast.
Yeah,
Gabe, let's go.
Bring the woke.
Bring him. Bring the walk.
So should we also
bring the woke,
establish
but also
the fact
bring the
that,
walk, right? Bring
Pete
the
is also clearly homophobic based on the way he reacted to a kiss from what he assumed was a man. I mean, fucking open your mind, Pete.
It's wild though
It was a compliment. It was a sign of affection.
it was wild that
He's
was
Japanese.
the choice. Like David Lynch is totally like, just kiss him. Don't, because she could have ripped off the nose and been kind of like, eh.
And the mustache. Although,
But like,
you know,
they don't want. They had obviously they must have shot this scene earlier in the day than, because there must have been other scenes they had to shoot. So it's like you
but they
can't
didn't
take
want to
any.
remove the makeup
You can't
for
take
it.
any of this off. Now, I personally, as a director, would have been like, let's shoot this as last, and then have her rip it off and kiss him. That would have been way cooler. But whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree that just removing the glasses didn't feel like a full enough reveal.
Well, I mean, I don't mind the joke of kissing him, like a dude kissing him, and like he's like, "Whoa!" and then he's like, "What the fuck?"
That seems
and
like
then
something Catherine
there's
would
the
do.
reveal, but the reveal is so not a reveal. I mean, it's a reveal, but it's kind of like a lame reveal. You know, it's just whatever. That's just me shitting on David Lynch's directing style again, because clearly he's not as good a director as I am.
We'll just rest with the fact that Ian is forced to watch this scene through very, very modern eyes.
Indeed.
And isn't able to embrace it with the joy or the wonder that 12-year-old Gabe was able
No,
to.
I'm not watching it through like true storytelling eyes, but it's okay.
But a much more stern attention to detail, I think.
Sure.
Particularly where it comes to makeup effects and hidden identities.
Okay.
Or, you know, overlay effects of facial expressions. You know, that sudden scene where Bob like fades in on Leland's face and just does his super creepy laugh for just a fraction of a second. That one got me.
I don't get the spotlight.
Every time.
I don't get the spotlight. Like, why is that the thing that they use to identify that that's Bob?
Well, it's not just Bob that uses it, but it's also the giant.
Oh, the giant does use it. Okay. Yeah.
It's something. It's just kind of something that they use when the line between those two worlds becomes blurred, and it's a motif that comes up more than once.
Here's the weird thing about the giant. So the giant shows up in certain things and then disappears.
Mm-hmm.
But then the old man shows up after all of that. So he's still around.
Yeah. That's interesting, isn't it?
So is the old man an owl and the giant's an owl?
Well, and here's the other thing.
The log is an owl?
The giant and the Bob come... If the giant and Bob come from the same place, are they at odds? Why are they at odds?
Well, here's my thought. Is like, I would like to think that the old man and the giant are the same person.
Okay. That they have, like, the giant is...
Well, the
Bob
giant's
and...
young and doing this thing, and then he's aged and shrank down and crotch. Because the dude's still pretty tall, but he's just hunched over and feeble. But the giant doesn't seem like... What's the point of him being a giant? Like, he doesn't do anything.
What's the point of the dwarf being a dwarf? It's just, yeah.
We haven't seen the dwarf again.
We haven't.
Will we ever see the dwarf again?
Yeah, we will. He wouldn't be so ubiquitous with the show if you didn't see him again. That's just one of those things to make the character seem more otherworldly, and
yeah, exactly. It's just like Lynch being, we're just gonna have fun and be cool and do what we do, and that's fine. I'm not against any of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
It is fun to watch Bobby. He's looking over in that direction, but clearly is not looking in that direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not looking at the stage.
He's not looking, but he's looking in the direction of like Coop and what's going on, so we can shoot towards him. And he's just like kind of smoking a cigarette and like being like, It's just funny. All of it's
Yeah.
funny to me, Gabe.
Another fun story is that Dana Ashbrook, or Bobby's character, was not scripted to be in that scene originally. Dana Ashbrook just happened to be on set that day, and Lynch just told him, "Hey, get on there and give me an emotional reaction."
See, that makes sense because I have no idea why he's fucking there to begin with.
But Lynch
I even
did
asked
say,
myself. I didn't write it down, but I was like, "Why is he here?"
because he's a high school kid, and that's where high school kids hang out, is at the bar.
Clearly. But it's funny to know that that's the reason he's just hanging out there. It's like, I mean, you and I used to hang out, just go to the Roadhouse back when we were in high school.
When we were
together all the time.
teenagers.
Yeah, just like it. That's how we met.
Long distance.
Yeah. Just going and eating peanuts and smoking cigarettes. No beers, but we drank a lot of Cokes.
Helping biker gangs with vigilante justice.
Right.
Don't forget about that part. Rescuing heroin addicts from whorehouses across the border.
It'd be like if they shot it in Portland and they shot this scene inside Jiggles. Like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of teenagers inside this strip club. I don't know.
Is that one of the 18 plus clubs? I've never been to those.
Yes, yeah, Jiggles is closed now, but yeah, it was a juice bar, and so it was like 18 plus, and like it was a super popular one. So you graduate high school and then you just go to Jiggles, or if you're 18, I was not old enough until I graduated and then had to have my birthday until I got old enough, and then we all went. But like all the 18-year-olds that were in high school would talk about Jiggles incessantly, So it was a rite of passage.
Oh, so you knew a lot of 18-year-olds in high school, did you?
No.
No, totally not. Just the ones that went to Jiggles.
Just the one, just the pedos.
Just the pedos.
I'm a pedo sniffer.
I didn't realize that Jiggles had been around that early.
Oh, it's been
like
around.
I knew that they had the 18 plus juice bar strip clubs in Portland.
Well, it closed what? 5, 6
Because that
years
was
ago?
up like it was longer than that.
Yeah, okay, but it was totally
it was
around
like
back
that
in
weird it had that weird checkered paint job for a little bit up on like Sandy and 82nd.
No. Jiggles is over by like out in Lake Oswego, like off 205. Not 205.
Oh.
It's Tualatin. Jiggles is in Tualatin. So it's off. It's on I-5 just before you pop off and go back into 205 on the south side. Like what is that big strip? That big mall down there.
Clackamas Town Center?
No. So you go down I-5, and then there's in Tualatin, and it's like the outside mall.
This is great podcast
right,
material right here.
Hey guys, come to Oregon. It's fucking zombie town. Anyway,
we're getting a little off track here.
No,
folks.
but
we're just turning this into a
Jiggles
conversation.
Was a sick ass strip club for kids that didn't drink alcohol, and man, it was wild. And that's what I would imagine.
A little bit of Portland history.
I would rather go to Jiggles than Roadhouse.
Than the Roadhouse.
No peanuts. Just
no peanuts.
Just a lot of.
Were they
big
serving
titties.
underage kids at Jiggles a lot? Is that why it closed?
There's no alcohol. No, there's no alcohol
none
at all.
Like even if you're of age, you can't get alcohol there.
No.
Oh,
it's a straight up juice bar.
Well, no shit. Yeah.
And then you had to buy, and then they know.
At age 18, I was interested way more in titties than I was in drinking.
And then they know that you're broke, so you definitely. But you had to, at least when you came in, you had to buy a drink. So like, if you didn't buy anything, they were kind of like, "Get the fuck out."
Yeah, reasonable. They got an overhead to maintain.
But then there were some crazy dancers that just like informed my idea of what strippers were. So like it just elevated my. Anyway, not Twin Peaks.
Not Twin Peaks. Not unless they started off working at the perfume counter, I guess.
Well,
So
it would be a way
yeah,
later before I had sex with a woman, Gabe. So no, very long time.
very long time after that. Anywho,
I don't know what else. I feel like I asked. I mean, this episode's been going on
yeah,
forever.
I
But
didn't have a lot more trivia to add, like the Fumio Yamaguchi thing. And I was really worried that you were going to do that thing that you'd done in a couple of previous episodes where, like, you're watching on Amazon and it'll let you search the
no,
actors on
I didn't do
screen.
any of that stuff.
Yeah, because if you do that these days, like if you look up Fumio Yamaguchi on
We
IMDb,
talked about that.
it'll direct you to Piper Laurie.
I don't do any of that shit because like it's on my PlayStation. I don't really, it plays. I just watch it and then I just add.
Well, yeah, I know you'd done it at least once before, so.
Something you said last week that I was still curious and you haven't mentioned this week is like there was something that I said that you thought that I mentioned and I was right about.
Oh yeah, we still haven't gotten to that yet.
Oh, that wasn't this episode?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
thought that was. I
yeah.
thought that was this episode.
I mean, you did drop hints early on that you knew that Tojimura was Catherine.
No. But there was something else that you thought that, like,
Yes.
you were like, I was right about, and I'm like, oh, I want to know what that is. I thought this was the episode.
Yeah. No.
When is that episode?
It's a ways away.
Oh, god damn it!
I don't know the specifics, but I'll tell you when it comes.
I don't even
up.
remember what it is at this point. Then probably.
No, you don't. Yeah.
Was it real truth or was it just an offhanded comment?
I mean, the reasoning behind your choice was sound.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it was stuff that, yeah.
I was actually looking forward to that. For some reason, I thought, like you said last week, I thought it was this week I was gonna find out, and so I was like very excited. I was a giddy schoolboy. I was like, oh, I can't wait.
No.
Damn it.
Right. Your prediction has yet to come to pass.
Oh, okay. All right.
But when it does, I'll flag you down and let you know how impressed I was that you got it right.
I'll probably notice then, maybe.
Oh, you'll notice.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, you'll notice when we figure it out.
Like, anyway.
Yeah, I'll scout ahead, but I think we're probably 3, maybe 4 episodes away from that one.
Does Lynch show up in the next episode?
The very next episode, I would have to look. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
The only thing I say that is like in the episode list, there was a back of a head of a guy, and I was like, "Is that Lynch again?" But maybe it's not Lynch.
If it's not Lynch, it might be Miguel Ferrer. I think Albert shows up again in the next episode or 2.
Yes. Bring him back.
We love Albert.
I could lose Lynch in this. The yelling gag is not funny anymore.
Oh, dude, get used to it.
What? How can he possibly show up more? He doesn't even care about this show. He doesn't care about this show, but he's always in it. This whole idea, or this
talking about the original series,
this narrative that like Lynch didn't give a shit about the show clearly is bullshit because he's in it all the time. So like, what the fuck?
Damn it! What was I looking up again?
I don't know.
Somebody in the cast or something, wasn't it? We're trying to figure out.
I don't know.
We're trying to figure out when your prediction happens.
No, I'm not. I was just asking. I thought it was tonight. You're figuring it out for your personal self.
It might be longer than I anticipated.
Last episode.
We won't find out this episode.
That's fine.
That's all we need to say.
That's fine. You know what? Donna was looking really hot tonight. I don't know.
I think that's a good sign that we're about ready to wrap things up, folks.
Because I'm not a pedo.
And talking about how hot
she's not a high school student.
Pick was.
She's not high school.
Donna is.
No, she is in high school in the show, but she's like, what, 21, 22, 23?
21, 22, yeah. I think Sherilyn Fenn was actually the youngest member of the cast at that point, so take that for what it's worth.
The one that I think is a pedo?
No, Sherilyn Fenn is Audrey.
Oh, Audrey.
The one you think is the hottest
Oh, yes.
is the youngest one.
Well, that's why I wasn't commenting on her. Listen, Gabe. I know you. I know entrapment. Don't try to entrap me.
No entrapment from me.
Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
Let's
So
do
we're
it.
going to wrap it up. As we told you, biggest episode yet, folks. We had a lot to go over, and Ian had a lot of thoughts. So did I.
This is a lot of
But,
fun. I didn't
it
like
was
it.
fun.
Dumb episode. A lot of fun though. A lot of fun.
It gave you a lot of food for discussion,
Yes.
which is really ultimately what the goal was. Is, Lynch was forced to answer the one question he didn't want to answer. So he's going to make us ask a lot of other ones in the meantime
You know what's
to keep us
interesting?
coming back.
You know what's interesting too? I'm also interested, like, what they do from here. Like, how do they get out of this mess? How do they move this season forward? Like, I know it's going to be
Right.
messy. You've already told me it's kind of just fucking weird.
Well,
but it's like,
they've
I'm curious, like, what do they do now? You know?
they've laid some seeds already.
Oh, sure.
Cooper's got a couple of irons in the fire. Some people that might not want to see him alive,
And Truman has spirits to ghost bust, so.
right? Bustin makes him feel good.
Sorry.
So anyway, if you want to comment on all of our tangents this week and about Ian's highly deflective discussions of pedophiles, we'll be answering emails once I remember our password to blankasafartpod@gmail.com. If you really want to discuss, best way is to hit us up on Instagram at blankasafart or at Facebook, blankasafart. Threads is whatever.
You know what you can also
We're
do?
still-
This is wild for all you listeners, and I don't even know if you know this, but if you go to our Spotify, our main front page of Blank as a Fart, I don't even know what it's like Spotify podcast, Blank as a Fart, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. If you search on Spotify, you'll come. You can actually leave us a voice message. You can press a button on your computer
shit.
or your phone.
Even I forgot about this.
You can press it. On your phone is super cool because you just press it and then you just talk into your phone. On your computer, obviously, you need a microphone or a headset or something. But on your phone, you can just press it. It'll start recording. And you can leave us a voice message. Then it will send me an email letting me know that you've sent this message. And then I can share it with Gabe. And then we can, we could play them on the show or something, or share them at the end, or I don't know. We could, but at least we would get. It'd be a cool thing that we could, if you're gonna spend the extra time to send us a message, we will showcase that message. So, very cool.
It's a fun new way to interact with us in this era of information technology.
Technology is wonderful and cool.
It's wild
until it's not. But anyway.
All right. So yeah, next week. Have we peaked? Is it all downhill from here?
Well, no, we have the return supposedly, and Firewalk with Me. I mean,
yes.
Are you kidding? The audience is like clamoring for this content. Maybe not the back half of this season, but they are clamoring for the other stuff, like you are.
We've got some muck to wade through, but the best is yet to come, if you ask me. So, now that we've got this mystery
so no
solved,
more 2-hour episodes after this is what you're saying. Like, it's like a straight hour episode. We're like,
we'll see. Once we hit the season 2 finale here, the end of the original series, I think there's going to be a fair amount of discussion about that.
Okay.
Because, precious little of that episode is spent in what you would call the real world.
Right.
So there's going to be arguments that, what's real and what's not. We'll see how that goes. But we're a ways from that yet. So in the meantime, we know who the killer is, but now we're going to find out how are they going to catch him and how is the giant going to help.
Oh, what?
Thanks for tuning in this week, folks.
Yeah.
Next week, it'll happen again.
Blank as a Fart, a Twin Peaks podcast.
Sorry.
I'm Ian. That's
Good
Gabe.
night, folks. See you next week.